Today's talk, tomorrow's world.
Well, you're listening to Today with Ben Liang and me, Xu Qingduo, with Wednesday's business news. Here's Zhao Yang.
Well, thank you, Qingduo. Let's check out some of the key events on the corporate front here in China this week. Join me on the line is Jeffrey Towson, Professor of Investment at Peking University, Guanghua School of Management. This week, the first thing is Alibaba is set to file for an IPO in the United States of America. And there is lots of speculation about what this privately held company is actually worth. Are they worth more than Facebook, which IPO is at the 100 billion US dollars, or could they really be worth 250 billion US dollars, as some have claimed? And what is the company really worth? So, Professor Towson, Bernstein analyst has announced a valuation of 245 billion US dollars for Alibaba. This is more than twice of Facebook. Is this accurate?
I think that one probably got headlines because it was so big. Most estimates, put it more at the $150 billion range. But keep in mind, Alibaba is private, so we don't really know that much about them yet. The numbers aren't out. Mm-hmm. Most of people are looking at Yahoo, which owns 24% of Alibaba. So that's where they're getting information, but it's pretty small amount of information. The latest numbers we saw was that revenue for 2013 was about $8 billion, and their net income was about $3.5 billion, which is a 45% margin. I mean, that's really pretty amazing. But we don't know that much. So it's kind of a bit of a game going on in terms of,
But why
who's got the biggest number.
But why is there such variation in the numbers? So is it because of the different estimates of future growth?
It has a lot to do with how much is Chinese e-commerce worth. I mean, that's the huge number. That's the $500, $800 billion number, and then Alibaba's the biggest player. So it's a lot about future growth, not what it's worth today in terms of cash, but what's it going to be worth in 3 to 5 years. Now, on top of that, you have the issue of what's the right PE, which is somewhat related to growth, but sometimes it's just kind of speculation. And there was an interesting comment by David Einhorn of Greenlight Capital, which is he's one of the most famous hedge fund people in the U.S. He came out today and said the U.S. tech industry is in its second major bubble, since 2000. So this could be a lot of that.
So how does this also relate to the string of acquisitions by Alibaba recently? They have been buying companies almost every week for the past months, right?
Right. This is kind of a interesting circle. As their perceived stock price goes up, they can buy these companies very cheaply, assuming they're using stock. It's like having cheap money. As they buy the companies, that adds to their earnings. So that gives them a picture of greater growth, which in some ways probably increases their stock price. So there might be a little bit of a cycle there. But overall, if you look at the numbers, they made about $3 billion worth of acquisitions last year. But the amount of transactions that Alibaba handles, on their platform is closer to 160 billion. So I mean, that's kind of small dollars relative to their core business. But it's an interesting effect. They're no doubt buying companies right now because they can do it cheaply.